So, it's Friday, the 7th of July 2023, and it's a day I'm going to remember. The 7th of the 7th, 23. Independence Day, for me anyway. I no longer will be serving the great British public. Do you know how happy I am about that? I'm very happy. I don't have to pretend to be nice. I don't have to nursemaid them and do everything for them and wipe their arse how I have been. And to be honest with you, how I actually managed to do 7 years, 8 years actually, I actually don't know, because yeah. So I've been released from serving the public because unfortunately it seems to be a theme up and down this country of where public services are becoming private organisations that only objective is profit and growth, and the duty of care or any kind of service is gone. So when I refer to services, I've written a little list here. So communication services are things like postal service, telecommunication service like BT, television, radio, internet, and what's that there? I can't even read my own writing. Couriers. So like obviously a courier and an internet provider, you know, everyone, you can argue a toss, everyone needs the internet, so it could be deemed a service, but there's certain elements of there where, people can make a profit and grow, right? Transportation and infrastructure. So you've got the trains, the buses, cab service is another private thing that you could argue a toss. Aeroplanes are like, they're not really a need, they're a want. Cars, that's your own thing, me. Road maintenance, etc., which comes from the car tax, or it used to, it doesn't anymore. And ferries. Then you've got health, all the different kinds of health services, hospital, doctors, specialist care, OAP services, dental, mental health, and obviously private healthcare. And then you've got like amenities, things like gas, electric, wind, water, energy, sewer and waste disposal, and recycling schemes and refuge, as in like rubbish being picked up. You've got in England we pay a thing called national insurance, and national insurance back in the day used to cover all health, including dental, pensions, and unemployment benefit, and that's what that 10% of your wage after £54 of earnings or whatever it is. I think you pay 1% on the first small percentage of wage, and then after that it's 10%. And that is supposed to pay for your national insurance, your national health, your pension, your dentist care, and your unemployment benefit. And income tax helps with the services. So, because you've got things like, you've got the 999 services, you've got the police service, and you've got the fire brigade as well. So services like that we all need to live in this world the way it is. They shouldn't be profit and growth organisations. They shouldn't have private shareholders. They shouldn't be owned by foreign influence, because it's actually a national security risk, isn't it? But it seems that everything is going that way. So, like our office, we were open from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. They're now going to cut that from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the morning, close it, then reopen it at 4 and close it at 6. So you've got 4 hours instead of an 11-hour span that people can collect things, because it costs money to keep a door open for people to collect things from, right, and enter things into the system. To be honest with you, the company I work for has missed the trick there, because the post offices, there's not as many anymore, not as convenient for everyone, and if they just offered some postal services, they could actually make a shit ton of money, but they obviously haven't thought of that. But these are services that people require a person for, if you like. So it's like, if there's a problem, which there are lots of problems at the moment, because they've seemed to have destroyed the efficiency of the firm I work for on a big level. I mean, it's shocking. I've never seen, in 20 years I've worked for it, I've never seen anything like it. And I'm subject to parliamentary acts and statutes, and it's quite concerning, because as the corporation's not abiding by those parliamentary acts and statutes, I think Ofcom or whoever it is involved, I don't think they can push it onto our persons. But it's all because, like, if you close an entry point where people can't come in and complain, people can't ring up and complain. They're on a phone line for 25 minutes waiting to speak to a human. You write an email, you don't get a response back. You know, you've lost a packet, you want to find out where it is. You want to come in and get some answers, and you can't even come in. And it seems this is happening everywhere. It's like the railway services have just announced that they're going to close all ticket offices. Now, I get there's going to be some stations you won't need a ticket office in. You can use a machine. But what happens when the machine's gone down and there isn't a human being there to print you you know, I know what it's like when our computer system goes down. I've got a spreadsheet I have to run from, and it's antiquated and it's old-fashioned and whatever else. And I know you have to think on your feet and do different things, but people are not thinking about the consequences of power cuts, the consequences of operating systems failing, the consequences of applications not working, the consequences of things getting hacked, the consequences of not having a human being there to interact with in order to solve a problem. And it seems that all services are having their entry point cut. Like, you can't complain, you can't, right? The health service, my mother has had issues with a, we think, blood pressure tablet that's caused a rash. And it's really quite bad. I thought it was starting to make her depressed, to be honest, and I think it is starting to. It's 6 months later and she still hasn't got a doctor's appointment with a dermatologist. It's only just happened. And the amount of hassle and shit, you know, she's had an ambulance called out to her because her blood pressure dropped and she passed out and knocked her head out. You know, near enough fucking concussed herself. And, you know, she's had a few things. You know, her mother died of an aneurysm, right, from high blood pressure. And so, and it's hereditary in some sense, it can be. So, you know, there's concerns here. It just seems the whole system is fundamentally broken on a level that is ridiculous. And you've got shareholders from America buying trust funds of part of our health service in order to, you know, like, make it shit and then we complain. So then the solution is to privatise it. Problem, reaction, solution. And it seems it's happening with all services. And what I don't understand, and I really don't understand, and it really fucking makes me angry, is why aren't people bothered by this? Why, oh yeah, we know. Right, you know, so then when someone like me talks about it, it's like, oh, stop moaning, stop going on about it. We all know, you know, it's depressing. I'd rather not look at that. Well, I'd rather not fucking look at it. I'd rather not live in this fucking shit, but I am day in, day out, and I can't just go, I'm not going to look at that. Oh, no, let's just ignore it. Someone's getting fucking murdered over there, I'll just ignore it. No, it's never going to be me. And I just don't understand the level of incompetence. I'm not saying everyone, obviously. It's just, I just don't get it. I know, you know, it's just, we're at the next stage of evolution as it is, in the sense of we all becoming androids, and then all this other stuff's going. Soon you're going to walk into a shop, right, a shop front, and it's going to be like, in England there's a shop called Argos. You have it's a catalogue shop, and you order your catalogue number, you pay for it, and it gives you a ticket with a number on it, and the conveyor goes counter number 3 or whatever, you know, or ticket number 436. Please go to collection point A. It's all that kind of crap, right? Which is fine, right? But that's what a shop's going to be like. You're going to go in with a QR code, right? You're going to scan it, and then your parcel's going to come down. You know, you're not going to be able to go into a shop front. There'll be no such thing as a shop. They don't want you leaving the house. Ideally, they want to deliver it to your fucking prison. Prison, yeah, your house. Anyway, yeah, so I've not got to serve the public anymore. Fantastic. I'm kind of almost going to the dark though. I was asked if I'd go and do something else because another member of staff who usually does it is quite busy with something else. So they asked me to go on a champions course, which I did. And because I've done it before, it was on a different system that's been amalgamated into a new system. It kind of made sense. So I was sent on this course, and then they kind of suggested that I go and learn someone else's job who's leaving in 12 weeks' time and then fit into that role. And that role is a management role. So it's quite possible I will go to the dark side. But the only difference is I won't have any staff. And the other thing is a member of staff or a manager at work spoke to me and said, look, you know, I want to keep you off the streets because I want your skills. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, some other person who's not educated and not skilled enough to do that job, or go and sit in there and be crap at it, when I've got you who's quite capable of doing all those things. Why would I put you out doing a dead end job? And I'm like, I've worked for this company for 20 years, and you're only the second manager in 20 years who's actually utilised my skills instead of getting jealous and envious and, you know, oh, pushing her over there. You know, because I'm a little bit. I just don't like bullying. I don't like bullying. I've never liked bullying. All my life, when I was a kid at school, I used to stop bullying. I don't like it. It's just unnecessary. Why do you have to be such cunts? You know, there's a time and place to be a cunt, and there's a time and place to be nasty. You know, sometimes you have to be. Sometimes you have to be a bit like, fuck you. But I don't understand why people are so greedy, competitive, self-absorbed, and think they're so fucking entitled. It's like, just have a bit of consideration. It's not all about you. So yeah, I thought I'd share that. So services, problems, public, we need to do something, because if we don't, that dystopian nightmare that you all don't want to live in is literally round the corner. Peace, love and light.